Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my July TBR. Now I haven't done a TBR in a couple months, so I was like super excited to film this video and actually put together a TBR because I have the time to read. But before we go ahead and get on into the video, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday and Saturday and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. The first book I'm going to be reading is The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. I put this on this list even though I'm filming this video on June 27th, and I think I'll be able to get this done by the time July hits, but I just wanted to include it anyway. But this is book 6 in the Mistborn series, and I'm currently on chapter 11. I've been audiobooking this and I'm kind of like in the middle of chapter 11, so I'm like going at a good pace, and I really think that I can get this finished in the next couple days. That'll like free up some more books for July. But I am really enjoying it. It's definitely like Wild West type of feeling in this book. There was this whole scene with like a train robbery, and then you include like flintlock fantasy elements, and there's just a lot going on. So I'm excited to finish this and get all caught up on the Sanderson Cosmere books I need to read. The next book is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. This is a YA standalone fantasy, and I actually started reading this in, might have been May, and I read about 55 pages, and then I paused to finish the Fits in the Fool trilogy. But I read House of Salt and Sorrow by this author and fell in love with it, so I couldn't help but pick up her second book, and I just love that they're standalone fantasies, and they have like a creepy element to them. They're not like happy fantasies, they're like creepy fantasies, and which is weird to say because this is like a bright yellow cover. In this book, we're following a village that lives separated basically from the rest of humanity by their forest, and they have to travel once or twice a year to get supplies, especially to last them through the winter. But there have been these strange attacks going on when people go into the forest to venture to get supplies, and everybody is saying that these beasts have returned that the people who settled the village had warned them about, and it's been so long since there's been an attack that a lot of people think that the beast never existed. It was just kind of like, you know, a fairy tale. And I haven't gotten to this part yet, but apparently these beings in the forest are able to grant someone's deepest, darkest wish in return for a small favor. So like I said, I'm only about 50 pages in, and the town is kind of deciding what they want to do, if they want to venture into the forest to go get supplies, despite the fact that they're being attacked, and just a lot of politics going on, and just learning about the history of this village. But already we have like that creepy, dark forest setting, which I absolutely love. And right away, if any of you guys have seen that movie, The Village by M. Night Shyamalan, that came out like years ago, that is exactly what I thought when I first started reading this book. So I'm excited to finish that. I think I'll be able to finish it pretty quickly. The next book I want to read is Empire of Ashes by Anthony Ryan. This is book 3 in his Dracona's Memoria trilogy, which is an adult fantasy series. The reason that I want to finish this series is because I just pre-ordered The Martyr by him, and I don't want to be in the middle of 2 Anthony Ryan series, and I only have 1 book left. But in this book, we are following a world where dragons exist, and they are harvested for their blood, and certain people who have like this ability can ingest their blood and get these enhanced magical abilities. And this group of people has gone on this mission to look for this infamous white dragon, which is supposed to grant this really special ability to people. And there's way much more to this series. It's told in multiple POV. There is war going on. We're following a spy. We're following a group that is hunting this dragon. We're following a sea captain. Like, there's just a lot that goes into this story. And Anthony Ryan's books, especially this one, like, it does take me a while to get through them because there's so much going on in his world, and the politics are so intricate that it's not a book that I can just like read really quickly, because I want to make sure that I'm grasping everything that he's trying to say. And also, the technology in this world is fairly intricate also. Like, he developed this technology that surrounds this dragon blood, so trying to understand that. So it's just a very intelligently written story, and it is dry at times, but I just have to read it slowly because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. This is a book that will probably take me the whole month to read because it's thick and dense, but I'm just excited to get to the conclusion. Next is the Queens of Venice Lear by Tessa Gratton. This is our buddy read book for the month, so if you're interested in budding reading with us, just click the Discord link down below. But this is a King Lear retelling as far as I know, and I've never read King Lear. I just know like the premise of it, that it was about this king, this mad king, I think, that divided up his lands to his and gave them to his three daughters, and I guess they started fighting each other. That's really all I know about this, and I don't know how much this story follows that premise. I really can't tell you, but I'm excited to get into it because I think it's going to be like a historical reimagining or a historical fantasy, like with Shakespearean elements, could be. I don't know. And I've heard mixed reviews about this book. I've heard people that said it's really dry and boring, and then I've heard people that absolutely loved it. So I'm interested to see where I fall on the spectrum. The next book is The End of Men by Christina Sweeney Baird. This is a sci-fi book, and I wanted to include another sci-fi book in my July TBR, but this was a book that caught my interest, and then I ended up finding it on Book Outlet for a couple dollars, so I decided to just grab it. And in this book, we are following a world where there has been a virus, a pandemic, but it only affects men, and if I'm not mistaken, all of the men have either died or a majority of the men had died. So it follows certain women, kind of like in an essay type format, as they are contributing to rebuilding the world and society and trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do and how they're going to survive. And I just thought it was an interesting premise. I don't think this is a particularly like meant to be feminist book. I'm not sure. I just think it's an interesting way to address certain issues in society, or maybe kind of what if scenarios, and maybe, you know, lacking men in the world will open up the eyes to all that they contribute, or maybe just showing that women are able to survive in certain ways we might not have thought that before we could. I don't really know. So I'm interested to dig into this and really see the messages and the themes that this book is trying to communicate. And lastly, I have Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is a children's classic. Really not much to say about this. I started this on audiobook a couple of months ago, and I'm just going to knock it out and finish it. And I'll do a review for you guys. I will say that I don't want to say I was struggling a little bit in the beginning of this book, but I think the fact that it's a children's classic just really wasn't speaking to me, because J.M. Barrie was writing it for children, and it had a very like childlike tone to it, and like I'm just a woman in my 30s, and I'm like not a child, and I was just having trouble really like getting into the mindset of being a child and listening to this. But I do want to read it because I know that people love this children's classic, and it's really short, and it's one that can easily get to in the month of July. Okay guys, that is it for my July TBR. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you've thought of them, or what you're going to be reading in July, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye!